Disclaimer. This ebook has been written for information purposes only. Every effort has been made to make this ebook as complete and accurate as possible. However, there may be mistakes in typography or content. Also, this ebook provides information only up to the publishing date. Therefore, this ebook should be used as a guide, not as the ultimate source. The purpose of this ebook is to educate. The author and the publisher does not warrant that the information contained in this ebook is fully complete and shall not be responsible for any errors or omissions. The author and publisher shall have neither liability nor responsibility to any person or entity with respect to any loss or damage caused or alleged to be caused directly or indirectly by this ebook. Table of Content. Introductory. 3 Chapter 1. How to become a vegetarian. 5 Chapter 2. Vegetarian weight loss diet. 9 Chapter 3. Being a vegetarian. 11 Chapter 4. Vegetarian sports nutrition. 13 Chapter 5. Vegetarian cooking for everyone. 15 Chapter 6. Low-carb vegetarian. 18 Chapter 7. Vegan vegetarian. 21. Introductory. Blank. Blank. It's always hard to accept and undergo changes. Likewise, altering to a vegetarian diet is not as easy as it may be presumed. So, it is very important to do an in-depth analysis before adapting to a new lifestyle. Sometimes, switching over to meatless diet might be difficult. Therefore, it is better to know the positive and negative effects beforehand, because becoming vegetarian involves a lot more than just cutting on meat. There are several types of vegetarians, like some who prefer eating fish and whereas some who don't. On the other hand, there are people who even do not consume dairy products including cheese and eggs, and live on fruits and vegetables. Switching to a vegetarian diet is always an individual's preference. One must also keep in mind the nutritional supplements that body would require, before you shun cottage cheese and other nutritional foods that provide essential nourishment. It is better to start off slowly and progress gradually to be a total vegetarian. Though it is hard to believe, the entire body system will go through definite changes, since the body will not be getting something which it is very much habitual of. It is always better to reduce the quantity gradually, instead depriving meat from the routine diet suddenly, replace it by intaking fish or chicken and then start cutting down the consumption gradually, turning to be a total vegetarian. The most important part in turning to a vegetarian style is to know the nutritional contents in the food which would be consumed instead of meat. Generally, those who do not approve of a vegetarian lifestyle have an assumption that their body would be deprived of vital vitamins and minerals if meat is not added in the diet. Although, there are many who have been successful in switching over to a meatless diet. Such individuals have been able to supply their body with necessary nutrients and hence filling in the lag caused by the meatless diet. Many researches have proved that green vegetables like broccoli, kale and spinach contains enormous amounts of calcium, and consumption of these green vegetables would give necessary nutrients to stay healthy. As well, nuts are known to be rich source of protein. Consumption of such vegetarian diets can ensure that one gets enough to have a healthy life with balanced nutrition. Turning to a vegetarian diet is one of the vital aspects that you can do to make your body feel healthy. And for individuals already converted to a vegan style, must have realized that they feel great and have excessive energy and also were able to lose weight without starving. So, start thinking on this and make a progress towards a satisfying lifestyle. Chapter 1. How to become a vegetarian. Blank. It may possibly seem impractical to imagine the initiatives a person should take to study to turn to a vegetarian diet. Nevertheless, it is not as simple as merely hacking meat out of one's diet. The response to that straightforward issue is not actually. People perceive that becoming a vegan requires much more effort than simply refusing to a steak or a hamburger. An individual would discover that exploring to become a vegan entails a lot of examination and also some serious efforts, so that one can be fit and not devoid their body of something that it essentially requires to function completely in the manner it was intended to. The most important thing one requires to attempt when turning to a vegan diet is to take it leisurely. If you have been habitual of consuming meat for years now, in that case a laid-back attitude will not make much difference. You will have to make some serious and planned efforts to become a vegan. Begin by slashing meat out of your regular diet gradually. You can cut on meat for some days and then switch over to consuming fish or chicken. This process can eventually help you in quitting meat permanently as the body slowly and progressively gets used to change in diet. If an individual desires to realize how to adopt a lacto-vegetarian diet, then they will also have to do petite exploration into the nutrients that are comprised in different vegetables, so a person can be certain that their body is receiving the essential stuff it requires to be well built as well as efficient. It must be kept in mind that vitamins like B and C as well as minerals like iron and zinc are essential for the human. Calcium and protein are also vital components of a proportionate diet, so one would wish to know the nutritional value of the food that they are consuming. It is necessary to ensure that the body is provided all the essential nutrients and vitamins that it requires to function efficiently. For the reason that people are removing meat from their diet, they must ensure that they intake sufficient protein into their body. Protein is crucial for the human body, and hence when people are studying how to turn into a vegan, they will desire to get substitute supplies of protein in order that their body can work the manner it was intended to. Eating healthy vegetarian. Vegan diets are known to be very hale and hearty, but eating a reasonable food when an individual is a vegetarian, it usually attracts little additional notice. When a person shuns red meat and animal protein out of their diet, they are shunning out a chief resource of protein which their body requires. It means that eating healthy diet as a vegan will entail adding foods into one's diet that will endow with nutrients commonly found in meat foodstuffs. By exploring a diet consisting of fruits, vegetables, and whole grains, people can easily avail the vitamins and nutrients they want from vegetarian sources so that their vegetarian way of life is healthy and in proportion. By consuming food items like legumes, soy foods, nuts, and eggs, one can obtain the essential protein content that they require to nurture. One must also keep in mind that other nutrients like the minerals iron, calcium and the vitamins D and B12 are equally vital for vegans. Whereas it's factual that removing meat out of one's diet and consuming a diet rich in vegetables, fruits, and grains is healthy. But vegetarians require worrying about other things, essential nutrients like receiving the right balance of vitamins and minerals from their diet. Many can constantly take a vitamin add-on, but since a lot of these supplements include animal derivatives, many devoted vegetarians hesitate in taking them. It is essential that one must look out for a diet which is rich in vitamins B and C, iron and niacin, since they are also vital part of a healthy lacto-vegetarian way of life. A person doesn't have to forego one's health when they prefer to become a vegan. Ingestion of healthy vegetarian diet is not an easy task. One must exclusively take leisure time to study and find food items that include nutrients most essential for the body. For this, perhaps you will have to go extensively through several books, magazines, or even surf internet. People can make all kinds of swaps in their diet that can replace meat when aren't eating any longer. For instance, one can opt for soy milk as an alternative to cow's milk, which in turn will provide the necessary calcium to the body. Including nuts and grains into a vegetarian diet suitably turns it into a healthy diet. Also, nuts and grains are full of proteins which are helpful in developing healthy bones. Several studies have revealed that vegetarians generally have healthy eating routine that leads to a fit and healthy body. They also have a higher tendency to remain healthy and energetic. The thing people need to keep in mind for healthy vegan diet is that they have to give particular interest to the nutrient content present in the foods that they eat and be sure to eat balanced diet. Chapter 2. Vegetarian Weight Loss Diet. Blank. Blank. Many people choose to become vegetarians because they need to go on a weight loss diet but hate the idea of starving themselves. A vegetarian diet can aid in weight loss in many ways because you are cutting out all red meat, which can contain a lot of fat that is stored in your body's cells and really packs on the pounds. A vegetarian eats a lot of fruits and vegetables as well as fish and seafood, which is all healthy for you and can be a great weight loss tool. Going on a diet is difficult because you want to achieve your weight loss goal, which is why you will really want to consider a vegetarian lifestyle change. Vegetables are naturally low in calories and good for you, so you won't have to worry about packing on the pounds with them. Fruits. While they are good for you, contain a lot of water and can make you weigh more since the body tends to retain water, but know that you are still eating healthy. A good, well-balanced vegetarian diet made for maximum weight loss contains a variety of foods and spices that taste good and make you feel full. You see, foods become fattening because of how we prepare them and what we add to them. You can have a bowl full of healthy mushrooms, but if you cook them in butter and add in some heavy cream to make a soup, you have packed on the calories and negated the naturally healthy effects. When you are on a vegetarian diet for weight loss, stay away from frying your foods to the extent that you possibly can. If you want to sauté some of your veggies, do so in an extra virgin olive oil, or Ebook as Rachel Ray says, which is lower in caloric content and provides some of the good fats that your body needs. You will also want to stay away from high-fat cheeses and opt for the lower-fat varieties and explore substitutions such as using plain yogurt for sour cream. A vegetarian diet is a great weight loss tool as well as a healthy way to eat. Once you have achieved your weight loss goals, we're willing to bet that you will continue with your vegetarian diet. Going meatless isn't as difficult as many people think it is. You will find yourself with more energy, quicker metabolism, which burns fat, and a smaller grocery bill, especially if you grow most of your vegetables. So, for maximum weight loss, opt for the vegetarian diet and watch the pounds melt off without feeling hungry all the time. Chapter 3. Being a vegetarian. Blank. Blank. Being vegetarian is a great way to health. It not only helps in retrieval of in-store metabolism but eventually leads to a much healthier lifestyle. Often, we see people around us who have to adopt a proper diet due to some disease that they might have caught up due to improper diet. Since meat eaters are more prone to cholesterol deposition and diabetes, being vegetarian, it could help them keeping a proper check of their health. When we are considering vegetarians in general view, such people would be imagined as eating a lot of green salad, but this view is slightly misconceived, as on a wider perspective the classification is much different than considered. Below are the few mentioned classifications. Lacto-ovo vegetarian, people who prefer eating both the dairy products and eggs. This is the most commonly preferred diet by vegetarians. Lacto-vegetarians, under this category, people consume dairy products but they do not consume egg. Vegan, people who do not consume any of the dairy products, eggs or any of the animal products. Fruitarian, categorized under vegan, is such a classification in which consumption of processed food is minimized up to optimum level. It comprises of mainly raw fruits, grain and nuts. Since fruitarians believe in consumption of only that food which could be harvested only without killing the plant. Macrobiotic, this type of diet is followed for spiritual and philosophical reasons. It is taken in consideration with a perspective of negative and positive energies that food contains. The yin is the positive attribute while the yang being its negative attribute. This style of eating aims at maintaining a proper diet. As this diet advances through 10 levels, it gets narrowed down. All of the level does comprise vegetarians but eventually eliminates animal product and in extreme cases eliminating even fruits and vegetables, leading to a diet that consists of only brown rice. Everyone have their own reasons so as to why they have chosen to be a vegetarian, like some chose to be vegetarians just because they do not want to be cruel to animals while others prefer it just considering it being a much healthier choice. Reason could be any, but it has been medically proven as well that vegetarian people lead a much greater deal of healthy life. Vegetarians are less prone to cholesterol deposition, diabetes and even eliminating risks of some forms of cancer as well. Organic food is grown with minimized use of pesticides, hence removing the risk of harmful chemicals being consumed, about which the scientists have proven to cause serious damage to the proper functioning of the body and nervous system. If this in some way has persuaded you to choose a vegetarian lifestyle, then go ahead and step towards a much healthier life. Initially it could be very demanding and difficult, but in long run it would bring about drastic changes leading to a much safer and better health. Chapter 4. Vegetarian Sports Nutrition. Blank. Let's say you are highly involved in sports, but you are a vegan and are worried about getting the right nutrition. Don't worry. You can get all the nutrition you need while still living your vegetarian lifestyle and participating in sports. You are not required to make sacrifices in your diet just because you don't want to eat meat. In fact, you might actually find that a vegetarian diet is extremely conducive to allowing you to participate in sports because the nutrition you will find in vegetables, fruits, and grains will actually give you more energy. The first thing you need to remember is that you must eat before a workout so that your body can begin to process the food and give you the nutritional requirements you need to sustain a heavy workout and be able to have enough energy to participate in the sports that you like to do. That means that vegetarians must get a lot of carbohydrates before they play sports and then let the nutrition that is contained in those carb-loaded foods work for you. You will also need to eat a good vegetarian meal after you are done participating in sports so that you can replenish the nutrition that is naturally lost through sweat during your workout. However, you will want to avoid carbs as much as possible in this meal since carbs can easily be converted into fat and actually negate all of the benefits you have just given yourself. If you are heavily involved in sports and you are a lacto-vegetarian, we recommend that you get a large number of nuts and grains which are filled with carbohydrates as well as a lot of fruits that can give your body some highly needed water that will eventually be sweated out during your sports workout. Athletes who are vegetarians often worry about their nutrition since participating in sports is so important to keeping them fit. All they really need to remember is that the body needs certain vitamins and minerals to function correctly. That's where research comes into play. Ask some of your vegetarian friends what they do before they play sports so that their nutrition doesn't suffer. Look online for suggestions about what you can do to get the most nutrition from your vegetarian diet before playing sports. Read books and ask your doctor along the way if you are worried about nutrition as a vegetarian who participates heavily in sports. The old saying is that you can never have too much information, so seek out what is there for you and then take heed. It will all be worth it in the end. Chapter 5. Vegetarian Cooking for Everyone. Blank. Blank. Cooking vegetarian food is indeed one of the easiest things to learn. Even those who fear boiling water or cooking dishes will find vegetarian food very interesting and easy to prepare. Vegetarian cooking is for everyone. It not only has high nutritional value but also vegetarian cooking is easy for everyone. Deborah Madison, America's top chef, just recently came out with his bestseller book Vegetarian Cooking for Everyone. One must not think of it as just another vegetarian cooking book. It has some delicious 800 recipes and vital answers to questions about components and procedures of cooking. One can learn new way to cook some known dishes like guacamole from the book and even some lesser known ones like green lentils with roasted beets and preserved lemons, and cashew curry. The book is easily available at all places and at a very easy rate at Amazon.com, $26.40. The review in Amazon quotes that the 124-page chapter on vegetables, the heart of matter, can be taken as reference for any vegetarian culinary skills. One may have sought its help in buying vegetables or as a manual. Madison provides equally inspired recipes and guidance for everything from grains and soy to dairy foods and desserts. For all its readers, it has proved to be a great source book and has ensured a great learning experience. In fact, one of the readers confessed that the author is writing recipes for everyday kitchen, and this is what attracts readers from all age groups. It's not like those chef books which the reader or a learner feels difficult to prepare. Vegetarian Cooking for Everyone is a book for everyone. An average cook can even cook or prepare good dishes reading from it. For a new learner or beginner, this is of great help who can feel his confidence being lifted up when he can prepare good vegetarian dishes that taste delicious. Vegetarian Cooking for Everyone has been adjudged as a comprehensive book that is of interest to all, even those who want to seek its help in everyday cooking as well. It has recipes for all, starting from starters, sizzlers, snacks, breakfast, lunch and dinner. The ingredients are simple and can be easily found in one's fridge and pantry, and cook something great out of it all, which is a huge satisfaction and a source of joy. Anybody can learn the mastering skills of vegetarian cooking from this book. So, go ahead and enjoy the book. Cooking Gourmet Vegetarian. For individuals who are vegan and are fond of cooking gourmand dishes, there are enormous opportunities to explore and find. There are a huge number of Epicurean vegan recipes that an individual can cook in varied places and situations, you just need to seek prospects to do so. Regrettably, space limitation prevents us from enumerating a complete cookbook in this small article. But there are a few recommendations to offer regarding to tasty vegetarian food preparation. Initially, we begin by defining an epicure meal. Now the question arises that is this feasible? In reality, a gourmand meal is special meal devoid of meat or spaghetti, and it includes converting interesting and rare elements into a masterpiece dishes that are not only delicious but also remarkable in appearance. Evidently, gourmet can be explained by many people in many various ways, but cooking a gourmet vegan food entails enough talent. It requires one to put a lot of flavor and ability to convert simple ingredients to artistic creations. So, what must an individual know in order to cook a gourmand vegetarian meal? If they have been a lacto-vegetarian for rather some time, they might want to refer to ideas about what one likes to consume and how one can induce innovativeness to make it unusual and delicious as well as mouthwatering. If people are novel to vegetarian style of cooking, the best process is to bear in mind the type of gourmet meals they have had before. It is very true that almost each and every one of us has had vegetarian meals. One must always look out for ways one can shun out the meat portion in the dish, while still maintaining intact the essence. With a little mind and resourcefulness, this can be made possible. We know almost all can. An individual can find enormous and diverse recipe books that are out devoted to gourmand vegetarian style of cooking in their local bookstore, on several websites, and online. Surf for cooking methods that contain constituents that fascinate all and then try the recipe. Many will not be able to cook a gourmet vegetarian feast if they start from anywhere. But by stringently following the instructions, you can avert a gastronomic failure. Cooking a gastronome meal can be a real adventurous and rejuvenating thing that a person ever does as a vegan chef. A lot of people believe the vegetarian way of life comprises of perplexity and inquisitiveness. When one can easily demonstrate that catering a vegetarian banquet that is epicurean, striking, and yummy, they may just wave them toward their side of the boundary. But don't struggle very hard. Being a lacto-vegetarian isn't for one and all. The finest things people can do is to cook with their heart and stay proper to their dedication of living a vegetarian style of living, which signifies cooking foodie meals that savor like they have mutton when they actually do not have any meat content. Chapter 6. Low-carb vegetarian. Blank, _ blank. Human bodies need various nutrients to stay fit. Being vegetarian is good, but you need to balance the vitamins and nutrients skillfully. The only thing that should come in your mind is the balance of carbs. Carbs are a great source of energy, and that is the only reason to consume carbs in proper proportion. Excessive carbs in a vegetarian diet will trigger fat production in human body. Carbs alter sugar, which in turn changes into fat, and this creates problem if the quantity of conversion is in excess. Some foods are rich in carbohydrates like rice, potato and grains, so if you have plans to low down on carb intake, you should minimize the consumption of such foods. It is also not advisable to completely cut these foods in your diet, as these are good source of carbs. Efforts should be done to curtail the consumption of these food products. Carbs are also present in flour, which also includes the whole wheat flour. You should avoid or minimize eating bread, if you are serious about the proper carbs intake. Make sure that the source of your carbs is appropriate to control the suitable consumption of carbs. Stay away from white bread and eat whole grain bread to compensate the carb requirement of body. Being vegetarian is good, but you have to give up lot of things during the process. The diet should include a lot of fresh and green vegetables. Selection of oils for preparing the food should also be taken into account. If you are using olive oil, you must use the proper quantity to reach the required level of carb. Also consider steaming and grilling of oil in order to ensure low carb intake. You have the natural vitamins in green and leafy vegetables. Don't consume carbohydrates that will make you gain weight. Different people have different reasons for changing their lifestyle to a vegetarian one. The most basic reason is losing extra weight. Some people also are really concerned about killing of various animals. A well-balanced diet is the most important criteria behind a vegetarian lifestyle. Excess amount of carbohydrates can change into sugar, which can gradually lead to gaining extra weight. Before you follow a vegetarian diet that is also low in carbohydrate content, you must be very careful in finding the exact amount of carbohydrate present in your diet. If the amount of carbs is very low, then it may affect your body and most importantly your health. The most important part of a healthy diet is nutrition. Low-calorie vegetarian recipes. Maybe an individual would have preferred a vegetarian standard of living for the reason that they wish to drop weight and require low-calorie vegan approach to aid them in their weight loss objectives. The excellent news is that merely by changing over to meat-free eating, one would be ingesting low calories. The unrevealed aspect of preparing healthy vegan recipes is to remove the additional flab that makes meals filling. Initially, when a person is preparing low-fat vegan recipes, people will want to avoid the use of too much oil. An individual can, yet use a superior quality additional virgin olive oil for tastings and salads. Ebook has less caloric value and gives some of the beneficial fats that our body need. Discourage fried foods while you are preparing vegetarian recipes which are less in caloric value. Even if one does use the added virgin olive oil for frying, in spite of this, fried foods characteristically have higher calories, so one should shun fried foods as much as feasible. Steam the vegetables as an alternative and refrain from boiling them. Boiling will deplete the significant nutrients. Grill vegetables for some change. You can also apply a no-calorie or light cooking spray to provide them some wetness or even scatter on a little watery lemon juice. If one's diet permits them to eat seafood, boil fish in spite of frying it. It is advisable to grill the fish since grilling is an immense mode to add taste and distinctiveness to their foods. Spices are main ingredients that can bring a vast change and provide a low-fat vegetarian recipe that is enjoyable and yummy. A lot of recipes of low-calorie vegetarian dishes can be found online. An individual can also purchase vegetarian cookery books with low-fat recipes in them. A more practical and an effortless method for making low-calorie vegetarian recipes is to just alter usual recipes by using healthy replacements like diet cheeses or replacing plain yogurt for vinegary cream. If an individual is creative, they will be amazed to discover that you can discover plenteous healthy vegetarian recipes and utilize these recipes into one's diet that will balance their weight loss targets. All a person requires is a little learning into where one can make replacements that will turn high-calorie foods into light foods with a small amount of variation and numerous thoughts. Embrace low-calorie vegan recipes into your daily diet plan and become conscious that you can consume tasty foods while sustaining your meatless standard of living. Chapter 7. Vegan Vegetarian. Blank. Blank. The difference between vegetarian and non-vegetarian is widely understood as the eating habits are distinct and obvious. There is another branch of food eating group commonly known as vegan, and the difference between vegetarian and vegan is misunderstood. There is no striking difference between vegan and vegetarian eating habits, but still people get confused in categorizing these food eating groups. As a layman, you will not be able to understand the difference between vegan and vegetarian. People consider these as same food eating groups because the similarities are obvious and clear. People believe what they see, and you often spot a vegetarian eating green fresh salads and few broccolis for all 3 meals. The fact is, different vegans and vegetarians consume foods very differently and their ways are not always similar. Understanding the eating trends of this faction will make things clear. Below are few examples. People who consume dairy products, eggs, fruits and vegetables are categorized as lacto-ovo-vegetarian. It is one of the most recurrent and frequent type of lacto-vegetarian diet. There are cases where you find these groups eating fish and also consuming poultry products. Lacto-vegetarian. Their diet includes vegetables, healthy nuts, fruits, grains and dairy products. The only difference is egg consumption, which this group avoids. Vegan. The difference between vegans and vegetarian can be understood by following their food habits. Vegans do not include dairy foodstuffs, eggs or any sort of animal products in their regular diet. Not only have these vegans refrained from sporting or wearing anything which is derived from animal products. Macrobiotic. There are many reasons to follow a diet group. Diet which is followed on grounds of philosophy and spirituality is known as macrobiotic diet. Health factors are also taken into account before selecting this diet. In this diet, food is categorized as negative and positive food. The positive group is yin and negative is yang. There are levels of progression in this type of diet. The elimination of animal products is encouraged at all levels. The highest level eliminates even fruits and vegetables and is confined to brown rice. A normal person will definitely get confused between the lacto-vegetarian and vegetarian diet. But for the vegans and vegetarian, it is absolutely easy to follow their lifestyle. It's only when you start to follow a diet regime you come to know the positives and negatives. You should support all diet groups and food eating habits as far as it's healthy and keeps you strong.